Hi, it's Mr. Schneider again. Today we're looking at founding documents. This is podcast 3.2. These are documents that led to our country's formation, and also most of them played a role in the Declaration of Independence. All right, so the first one is the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta is actually a British document, and the important thing to remember about the Magna Carta is that it said that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law. This is important because it's really the first time that the king admitted that he wasn't perfect, that he wasn't above the law. So while it didn't exactly put the king and every citizen in England on the same footing, it did give the nobles, the rich aristocrats under the king, some rights. And we actually have footage from when this document was signed in 1215.
Your Majesty, we, the noblemen of England, are worried about your continued abuse of power. It threatens the future of the realm. So we've gathered here at Runnymede, and we've written a list of grievances in this document here, called the Magna Carta. Really ticked off, actually. Really ticked off.
Big time. Magnum Cartos, whatever. Got some grievances of my own, actually.
I think you'll find our grievances more serious.
I think you find mine out.
I don't think you will, actually. I think you will, actually. I don't think you will, actually.
There's only one way to settle this. I propose a grievance battle. Baron, hit it!
Where to start? Which part? We got so many grievances, we could fill a cart. Let's start with some facts. Like tax. They're so heavy that they're gonna break our backs.
We can't pay. There's no chance. We lost all our money when you lost France. The northern bit, anyway.
Your Majesty, you got pwned. Drop some beats, player.
I'm confused. Is this real? I thought I was the king. I'm holding his seal. Kneel to the king. I'll see you grovel in the grime. I'll tax what I like. I'll even tax this rhyme.
Barons don't grovel. It's time to get real. Listen to me, dog, or you're gonna feel some steel. This chart is tight. We don't need to fight. Just hit it with your seal and give us our rights.
Some serious points.
I ain't finished. We want a council to represent rich people. We want a free church with a free steeple. We want you to stop stealing our sons and holding them hostage like you have done.
There's vital stuff here that you gotta give us. There's also some stuff about fishing in the rivers.
So stop. Read what we plead. Agree the deed in running mead. Do what we ask or we're gonna make you bleed.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If I don't tread gently, my Malacca will be plagued. So tell me what to do. You're the boss. They will have to do this later because I'm taking up the cross.
Interesting development. I wonder... shut up.
Hang on a minute. You must think we're balmy. While you're talking here, you're hiring up an army. So how about this? Let's barter. We'll stay loyal if you agree to Magna Carta.
Whatever, dog. I'll agree a skanky scroll. I'm tired of this game and it's time for me to roll. I ain't bothered. It don't fill me with sorrow. No one will even remember this tomorrow. Plus I'm messaged with the Pope and he'll ignore this ting. I do things my way because I'm John and I'm the king. Man, this king is fat. Harsh.
All right. Oops. Sorry. All right. Technical difficulties. All right. Next, the charters of the Virginia Company of London. So these were the charters that founded things like Jamestown and the Roanoke colonies. These were really the first attempts to colonize America. They weren't very successful. But it's important because it guaranteed the rights of Englishmen to all colonists, and it also set up some sort of representation for the colonists. All right. Next, we have the Virginia Declaration of Rights. This is important because it served as a model for the Bill of Rights of the Constitution. It was written by George Mason. Perhaps you've heard of him. really talked about what rights the citizens of living in Virginia would have.
And now, another minute in the history of Stafford County. This is George Mason, founding father and author of the Virginia Declaration of Rights. George Mason drafted the Virginia Declaration of Rights in May of 1776. The Virginia Declaration was the first constitutional document to protect individual rights, and it served as a blueprint for later founding documents and as a model for other state government. Thomas Jefferson even used the Declaration as a frame for the first part of the Declaration of Independence. Most notably, Mason's work was used for the basis of the federal Constitution's Bill of Rights, authored by James Madison. Mason's declaration guaranteed that all power of the federal government would be vested in and consequently derived from the people. This revolutionary phrase was used directly in the Bill of Rights. Now, you may have known...
All right, so we the people. Power from the people. All right, next document's the Declaration of Independence. Hopefully you know what the Declaration of Independence is. Really was a breakup letter. We were breaking up with Great Britain. They were becoming too clingy. They were making us pay for things. We just didn't like them anymore. So it stated our grievances against the king. Said we were independent, talked about life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and it affirmed the idea that all people are created equal under the law, which is funny because when it was written, everybody wasn't equal in the colonies. Think about women, slaves. So, yeah, we were a little bit behind the times when it came to that. So the Declaration of Independence. So it started the Revolutionary War, and we still celebrate it every July 4th from its founding in 1776.
Halfway across the globe and we're standing on the ground, screaming across the waves, you can't hear the sound. There's no fair trials, no trade, no liberties, no tea. We've colonized America, we won't stand for tyranny. And it's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too late. You paid your foolish tax, read the acts, and they just won't do. Wanna make it clear we believe this much is true. All men were created with certain unalienable rights. Among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. It's too late to apologize. It's too late. It's too late to apologize.
All right. So that's the Declaration of Independence. So after the Revolutionary War, we had just defeated a major. We'd come away from a king with a strong central government. So we did not want to have a strong central government. So we established the Articles of Confederation, and this maintained that major powers resided with individual states. The problem with the Articles of Confederation is that the central government was so weak it couldn't do anything. It couldn't tax, couldn't enforce laws. It could raise an army, but it couldn't force people to join it. The failure of the Articles led directly to the writing of the Constitution. So the Articles are really the first form of national government, but it was so weak that it didn't work.
So it's 1777 and the 13 colonies are busy fighting for their independence. Sounds good, but there's a problem. There are 13 separate colonies fighting for independence. The idea of a United States has not been invented yet, and 10 of the colonies have ratified their own constitutions. It was for this reason that the Second Continental Congress met and ratified the Articles of Confederation, a national system of government. The government they created was purposely weak in favor of state and individual rights. Fears of creating another king led these delegates to give the federal government the power to declare war, conduct international trade, and not much else. To even pass a law required a supermajority of states to approve. A unique success was how it handled the settlement of the West. It divided the land into a grid. The land was to be sold and the proceeds used to pay off the national debt, except for some which would be sold for the benefit of public education. In addition, the government took the bold step and said that this land could someday become a state, and a real one too, not just some second-class territory. The government's fatal flaw, however, was that it didn't have the power to tax. Without this critical function, the Articles of Confederation government was doomed from the start.
Alright, so that's the Articles of Confederation. And then finally is the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom. This allowed for people to have their own religious beliefs and opinions. This is written by Jefferson, and this is a very radical document. This is not something that was happening in other parts of the world. Generally, when you lived in a country, everybody was the same religion. Whether you were an Anglican in England, you were a Catholic in Italy, you were a Protestant in Germany. That's not saying that there weren't other religions there, but it was pretty radical for the government not to be involved in religion.
I'm Tom Camden, Director of Special Collections at the Library of Virginia. I have here another cornerstone in the nation's history, probably one of the most important documents certainly in Virginia's history, and has a direct constitutional link. This is known to many as Thomas Jefferson's Statute for Religious Freedom, officially known as an Act for Establishing Religious Freedom. Thomas Jefferson began lobbying for such a principle to be made law in of course, 1776. Freedom to worship as one please. However, this proposal, this Act for Establishing Religious Freedom, for which I'm showing you is the enrolled bill, was not actually introduced until June 12, 1779. It was talked about a lot, but the resolution did not get through until 1779.
All right, so yeah, it's just a radical concept, and that people can be whatever religion they want. All right, thanks for watching. That's podcast 3.2. Thanks for all your hard work, guys.